Hey, what's up? Zach here, and these are my top 5 favorite pickleball shoes for both indoor and outdoor courts for spring and summer 2025. Let's get into them. And remember, you're gonna see a lot of different shoes in the indoor section versus the outdoor section. Yeah, the indoor shoes can be used on outdoor courts, you just might tear through them. And the outdoor shoes can be used on indoor courts, except for the fact that sometimes the rubber is a little bit too hard, you get a little bit more slippage, and you just don't get as much performance on an indoor hardwood or vinyl court versus the grip you would get on more of an indoor focused shoe. So that's why it is broken up the way it is. I will give a couple shoes when I'm talking about these that I think are really good for both indoor and outdoors, the ones that kind of span. There are 2 shoes that I think really do that better than most others. Like I said, we'll get to that right at the beginning of the outdoor section. All right, but starting off with indoor shoes and coming in at number 5 is the EQLZ 360. Now this company has kind of come out of nowhere, to be honest, especially in the basketball space. But the 360 to me, I know it sounds cliche because the name is in it, but it really is good for that clockwork movement of pickleball, right? You are basically moving in that circle going from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, kind of those pivoting type steps. The way the uppers and the outsole and the midsole work together, it really does create a shoe that can kind of bend in all directions while not losing stability. And really no wonder, you know, look at one of the people that helped design the shoe. You can kind of see why the shoe does so well in those types of scenarios. It's not great for everybody. People that want maybe a little bit more rigid support underfoot, maybe won't like how fluid the shoe is, but you cannot deny the performance that it'll give you on indoor courts and how much agility that shoe allows. And coming in at number 4 is a stalwart on this list, pretty much always on it, is the New Balance two-way V5. Yeah, the two-way V4, it is just as good too if you can get them on sale. Have at it. The V5 though being the one that's just more readily available. This one of those shoes, like I said in the beginning, that really you could take on indoor or outdoor courts for pickleball and it performs pretty much just the same. Really for anything basketball, pickleball, tennis, it is kind of the all-around shoe. Like I said, for the price you can usually get them at, sometimes you can get them as low as $49. You just really can't get much better for that price point. And coming in at number 3 is a tie between the 361 degrees Joker 1 as well as the Anta KT10. And it's for completely different reasons on both of them, but I feel like, you know, they both deserve to be in this list, and they're both kind of really up there. Starting off with the Joker 1, you'd be hard pressed to find a more buttery shoe that allows so much flexibility and movement while giving you all the support that you would need as well. The grip on these things for pickleball, getting really low down to the ground, is just absolutely fantastic. I thought these were one of just the better feeling shoes underfoot while still giving you so much support. And then the KT10 basically is just side-to-side stability and speed for those quick bursts, especially on indoor courts if you're trying to kind of, you know, reach for a dink or something like that, or, you know, just kind of get back in from a weird position. This shoe pops up off the ground so well, especially from compromised positions, especially if you are lunging a lot. This shoe really helps with those kind of movements. So really either of these two, fantastic. Couldn't choose between the two of them, so that's a tie. And coming in at number 2, really no surprise for this list, is the Anta KT2. Number 1, it's the outsole tread and how it moves from step to step so easily, especially, like I said, from a super low position. Watch Kyrie Irving, just watch any highlight reel of Kyrie Irving, and you'll see why these do so well for pickleball, especially from super low compromised positions. The other reason I like these so much is they allow just enough eversion while giving you a lot of support from that top-loaded shank, which is pretty stiff. Like I said, they allow you to get really low, but then also allow you that easy transition step and kind of more of that pop. The foam in these things just feels so nice and lively, but when you're just trying to make those really quick adjustment steps, especially on a pickleball court, on indoor courts where the rallies can get a little bit weird, the ball can kind of skid almost like a tennis ball skids on grass or used to skid on grass. This shoe, like I said, really does a fantastic job. The one thing that I don't love about them is the lack of a really bulky lateral flange, but the way the shoe sits on the ground, the geometry of the shoe really makes up for that a lot. And like I said, that low to the ground performance on these is one of the bigger reasons why I think these are kind of a superior shoe for pickleball. And coming in at number 1, if you were paying attention throughout the year, I said it in the video and it still holds true. Number 1 shoe on this list, easily the Wave Weight All City 13. I don't see a shoe for indoor pickleball that combines the violent performance, the shock absorption, the low to the ground feel, the flexibility, just really everything in terms of raw performance that shoe does on indoor courts. Coincidentally, it's also the second shoe on this list that I feel does a really good job both on indoor and outdoor courts. If you're looking for one shoe for both, that's another one I think. Really, those are like kind of the top two. There's a bunch of shoes you can take indoors and outdoors, really, but those two I think are really top tier. And in terms, like I said, raw performance, the All City 13, especially on indoor courts, even kind of the weird vinyl court I have in here, is just really unmatched. All right, that's it for the indoors. Let's get into the outdoors. Coming in number 5 is a tie. Honestly becoming an oldie but a goodie on this list, and that is the Nike GP Challenge Pro, as well as a newcomer, which is the Xenon Extreme. Now, the Extremes I think are okay for tennis. They are pretty flexible in the forefoot, which does a fantastic job for pickleball, especially with the supercritical foam, the ridiculously durable outsole tread while still giving a lot of textured feel. I just think for pickleball, a little bit, that flexibility is better used in pickleball, especially with the supercritical foam in there. The GP Challenge Pro with the lateral flange in the rear foot as well as in the forefoot, I just feel like it just gives you so much, especially when you're, kind of in between two fences, right? That is really close together, and you kind of need that quick stopping power, that stability both in the rear foot and the forefoot. I know this is kind of like the takedown model of the GP Challenge 1, but I think this is just such a better shoe, especially for pickleball, and I still think this is one of the best on the market specifically for pickleball. And heads up, if you're like most of us out there and have abnormalities in their feet, because there is no such thing as a normal foot, and there really, no matter what shoe you get, there's always something kind of left to be desired. Whereas maybe you need a little bit more padding right here, or the tongue just not doing what you want. Maybe you get bloody toenails in your shoes. You will definitely want to check out my brand new shoe customization ebook that is coming out. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can go to footdoctorzack.com/customization to learn more. It has all of my tips and tricks in it for shoe customization, lower leg taping, athletic taping, orthotic customization, lace customization, sewing, really anything in the shoe you can think of. All of my years of experience in performance shoe customization is going to be in one resource. I leave absolutely nothing out. So you want to get more information on that, make sure you click the link in the description below. Go to footdoctorzack.com/customization. All right, and coming in at number 4 is the Diadora Blue Shield Torneo 3. These are a little bit more hefty of a shoe, but the protection in terms of lateral stability and the quick push-off power with the plastic medial flange on the heel as well as the lateral flange on the heel being made of plastic, it gives you a lot of the same stuff you get from the Challenge Pro, just in a more rugged package, maybe a little more of a comfortable package as well. So if you're putting a lot of energy into the shoe and you don't mind that little bit extra weight, whereas let's face it, a lot of shoes nowadays are getting heavier, you're getting so much rugged performance and that really, really strong side-to-side pivoting power that you need in pickleball, especially on an outdoor court. You're getting all that kind of in one shoe. So in terms of, I'd say, rugged, durable, and confident performance, I'd say this is probably the best on the list. It's just some other shoes maybe beat it out on just maybe raw performance. And coming in at number 3 is a shoe a lot like the Torneo, just puts you a little bit lower to the ground, you get a little bit more feel, the rubber might be just a little bit better for the demands of pickleball, and that is the Yonex Eclipsean 5. Just like in tennis, I dare you to find a better, quicker moving side-to-side shoe for how protective it is, for the rubber compound you get, for the feel you get through that shoe. It is just, it's out of this world. Plus, if you're a heavy slider dragger, the polyurethane uppers really give you a ton back. So a lot like the Torneo, but in terms of whereas I think the Torneo is just a little bit better than the Eclipsean in tennis, I think the Eclipsean is just a little bit better than the Torneo for pickleball. And hey, it's Zach from the future. I'm actually cleaning up after this video, and I did forget to make one honorable mention, especially because I just got these in the mail. Now that is the Head Motion Pro Pickleball, but it's the boa closure. The original Motion Pro Pickleball, I did think was a good shoe. I honestly thought it was a better tennis shoe than a pickleball shoe. The lockdown was the one thing with the slipper tongue that I didn't like versus some other shoes on the list, but I did think it was up there for sure. It was coming in that not top 5 category. I have not gotten a chance to actually play with the boa yet, but I have really liked the lockdown just wearing them. So make sure you look out for the review of these, and I'll make mention in the review if I do think that they do crack into that top 5. But so far on the boas, so good. And coming in at number 2 is a tie once again between the Babolat Jet Mach 3 as well as the Adidas Cybersonic 2. Honestly, I like the Cybersonic 2 just a little bit more than the Jet Mach 3, but I feel like, kind of like in tennis, they occupy the same space and That's why I like the Adidas one a little bit more for tennis. Whereas in pickleball, the flange on the Jet Mach 3 and just the way the lateral side of the shoe is, might be just a little bit quicker for pickleball. But in terms of a super, like if you want a really fast pickleball shoe while also giving you a lot of stability, those are the two of them I think they're just out of this world. And whereas for tennis, yeah, I like the Cybersonic more. In pickleball, I think they do just as good of a job for, like I said, the demands of pickleball. All right, and coming in at number 1, I know everyone's gonna say I'm a shill because it's Pickleball Company. I don't care, they're that good, I'll take the heat for it. And that is the Selkirk Court Strike Pro. Now, the reason I like these a little bit more than I like the, I'd say, Eclipsian 5 as well as the Cybersonic 2 is that you get pretty much everything that those two shoes will give you on a pickleball court, but the uppers to me are just a little bit more, I would say, form-fitting. I mean, like I said, they're a wider shoe, right? They'll accommodate wide feet, but the way that the uppers and the Court Strike Pro kind of flow with you, it just makes it a more, I'd say, I keep using the word flow or fluid, but kind of more fluid experience on the court. And it kind of just, it plays pickleball better to me. Now, in terms of the outsole tread, you get the micro gridding on there, so you're getting a lot of the same benefits of the Eclipsian line in the outsole tread of the Selkirks. Now the Eclipsian, I still think Yonex makes the best rubber out there, but I feel like you get that performance with these while also getting a little bit of a better upper in these ones. They're bottom light enough to where you feel super light on foot, but at the same time, you've got a ton of structure and a ton of stability. The lateral stability on these with how the flange is made is just out of this world. So in terms of like purely pickleball performance, I think these are just out of this world. Yeah, they're great tennis shoes too. I feel like in terms of tennis, I keep going back to like the Cybersonic and the Eclipsian, maybe just beat these out a little bit in terms of tennis performance, whereas in terms of pure pickleball, I think it kind of usurps them a little bit. So yeah, I know it's Pickleball Company, it's Selkirk. You know, I've done videos of Selkirk before, I get it, but you know, I wouldn't do those things if I didn't think the product was out of this world. I wouldn't put my reputation out there if I didn't think it was, like I said, a really good shoe. Like I said, all these shoes in the top 5 list are fantastic. There are a ton of other shoes out there that are just absolutely fantastic for pickleball. It really just depends on what you want. You know, you might like the Way of Wade 808 line, I didn't even mention it in this video. That might be your favorite. Like I said, there's just so much choice out there. It's just kind of different strokes for different folks. That's why I always do an ultimate basketball and tennis and pickleball shoe guide. That way you can kind of find the best shoe that is right for you. And I also have the companion digital download available for purchase in the description below. So if you want to check out any of that stuff, I'll leave those videos linked up above, as well as a playlist for all of these shoes you can check out. And make sure, of course, you subscribe down below. Respect, rubber, and foam. I'll see you somewhere in the Sneakerverse.